The whole deal, if you go back to Shekill and Fabian, the reason that I have to dance around the discussion about de se, that's D-E space S-E, de se. De se, the discourse, roughly known as thoughts about the self. Thoughts about the self qua self. I mean, in the capacity of and in the sense of self. Now, we know from dear Hector Neri, we know there is a theory, and it is the intended theory. Well, it's one of the intended theories. I have to read closer because Castaneda is doing a number of things. One of the theories is that Shekill indeed is Fabian. Fabian is the alter ego. Let's just say it's the alter ego. The Didymus, the double. Didymus, double. Didymus is one of the nicknames of who? Doubting Thomas of Chennai. India. The other Gospels that are locked somewhere dark in a basement in the Vatican. Nobody knows of them. For all the heavy weather, Dan Brown heavy weather, I want to see the Didymus heavy weather. That's what I want to see. I want to see heavy weather about St. Thomas. Doubting Thomas. Okay. In Übersinn und Bedeutung, Frege makes a distinction between Sinn und Bedeutung and he asserts quite famously that the morning star is an analytic identity proposition, which is true by virtue of meaning alone. But the morning star is the evening star is a bona fide, he doesn't use the word bona fide, but it is a scientific discovery. There are modes of presentation of some reference, but Bedeutung, reference. And senses, these modes of presentation, senses of the Bedeutung, I guess we can follow Frege's guidance and say that when we discover a new sense of a proposition, we learn something a little bit more about the nature of identity. And if it is the case that Shekill is in fact Fabian, if it is the case that the morning star is in fact the evening star, we can never be so sure about what counts as your identity. And so when I say skirt around it and kind of talk euphemistically, this stuff can kind of look a little bit spooky. Like, for instance, if I ask you, well, how do you know exactly who you are? How do you know you're not Shekill or Fabian? How do you know that you're not the morning star or the evening star? Yourself. You can say, well, I'm not a star. Not metaphorically, literally, a big flaming ball of gas. Inquiry, scientific inquiry, or just inquiry in general, rigorous inquiry, first principles inquiry, inquiry you take seriously, inquiry that can sediment itself into your understanding and counts as knowledge. There is no way other than it expands your notion of identity. But people, who are these people? We don't want that. We don't want that, I guess, because the idea about identity is to get more crystal, more transparent, more clear about what it is, not to muddy the waters, not to keep complicating the question. So then what about novelty? What about creativity? What about time? What about time? How's time work with identity? If every identity gesture is a reduction backwards towards some simplistic picture, you've just got thin. Everything is thin, small, repetitions, empty repetitions, unrelated to the moment, unrelated to this. What does it say? Membership card. Unrelated to this membership card. Completely unrelated to this. Unrelated to this. It is related to this in its unrelation to this. Okay, you can't, there's no way to pick this up and start going on about its unrelation to itself or whatever I just said, unless your identity is open. Unless it's subject to revision. And so the one dogmatism that this comes with is that that's an intellectual project and it involves language and so on. It's discursive. It's sentences. It involves sentences and we keep track. We remember things because we're humans. Humans remember things. We keep track, we keep score, we remember things. That's what morality is. Y'all silly geeses. The Geezy brothers of Venice. The Geezy brothers, not geese.